We have heard the story of Aladdin's wonderful lamp since childhood, such a magical power which can fulfill all human wishes in an instant. And to be honest, the imagination of getting something like that has crossed almost everyone's mind at least once in their life. But imagine, what if the power to fulfill that wish is not hidden in a magic lamp, but in your smartphone? In today's world, smartphones are not just a means of communication. As many apps have made our lives easier, they have also become an integral part of entertainment and daily life. But what if suddenly such a mysterious app appears on your phone which can make any of your wishes come true? As unbelievable as it may sound, such an app changes the lives of a few school students. Although at first everything seems like a dream, very quickly that dream starts to take the form of a terrible nightmare. Because in exchange for fulfilling every wish, they have to pay a terrible price. One strange event after another starts happening in their lives, and then they start receiving advance messages of their own death. Gradually, panic consumes their entire lives. The app that was once a blessing has become a deadly curse. But the question is, who created this mysterious app? Why are only students its target? What is really hidden behind the wish fulfillment? And most importantly, will they be able to save themselves from this cursed app? So let's dive into today's story and find out the story of the terrible curse hidden behind the wish fulfillment. 8 of close friends studied at Seoran High School. Saya, Ganu, Hajun, and Hyungwook. The 5 had completely different personalities, but the friendship they had developed since childhood always bound them together. Saya was one of the best athletes in the school, especially in the long jump. There was no one else in the whole school who was his equal. The school coach also liked him very much. But the beginning of his life was not so beautiful. He lost his parents in a terrible accident when he was a child. From then on, he grew up with his doctor aunt. After he was admitted to a new school, his classmates often taunted him about the death of his parents. It was during that difficult time that these 4 stood by him, and from there their deep friendship began. Ganu lived on the floor above Saya's house. Their friendship deepened over time and eventually turned into a secret love. They hid it from the rest of their friends, going to school together every day, talking on the way back. These were their little world of happiness. Ganu also tried to do a long jump like Saya, but got scared at the last moment. Then Saya would tell him, "Close your eyes, imagine the whole world as soft as sand, then let yourself go." Yet Gnu could never jump properly. Still, he tried just to be by Saya's side. On the other hand, Narayan was the daughter of a rich family, stylish, confident, in the center of everyone's attention. She had a very good relationship with Saya. She shared all her secrets with Saya. However, she never revealed one truth: she liked Gnu. Hajun was the quietest boy in the whole group. He was the best in studies, and his knowledge of technology was incredible. At a young age, he knew a lot about programming and computers, but he also had a secret feeling hidden in his heart. He loved Saya, although he never let anyone know it, and Hyungwook was the life of the whole group. Always cheerful, mischievous, and busy talking, but he was absolutely weak in studies. Women didn't like him much because of his excessive chatter and strange behavior. Rather, they thought of him as a bit of a loser. This is how they spent their days, like a normal teenage life. But one day something happened that turned their whole lives upside down. That morning, Saya woke up like every day and made herself breakfast. Her aunt was still out at the hospital working as usual. To spend some time alone, she woke up Gnu by texting him. Then the 2 left for school together. While leaving the house, in front of the elevator, Saya suddenly kissed Gnu on the cheek. In an instant, both of their faces turned red with embarrassment. They were walking to school with those blushing faces. Just then, women saw them and got out of the car to go to school together. After a while, Hyungwook appeared, and immediately his natural fun began. She started expressing doubts about Gnu and Saya's relationship, because before, Gnu always came to school late, and now he comes with Gnu almost every day. Hearing these words from Hyungwook, Gnu got angry and grabbed his throat. Before the situation got worse, Saya somehow stopped them. The woman also got annoyed because she liked Gnu but didn't tell anyone. And Hyungwook was making fun of that name. Even after reaching school and entering the class, Hyung-wook didn't stop. He started telling Ha-jun about the whole incident, although Ha-jun never showed interest in such gossip. Then Hyung-wook handed over his broken laptop to Ha-jun and asked him to fix it. Although Ha-jun didn't agree at first, Hyung-wook insisted, "Consider this my birthday gift." Finally, Ha-jun agreed due to his friend's insistence, because it was Hyung-wook's birthday that weekend. That day, the results of the math test were given in class. As expected, Ha-jun got the highest score, but to everyone's surprise, Hyung-wook also got almost the same score. The whole class stared at him in shock. Even Hyung-wook himself couldn't believe it. Just then, a strange notification came on his phone. "Girigo, your wish has been granted." With the notification, a mysterious 24-hour countdown started inside the app. During lunch break, the other 4 people surrounded him and asked how he suddenly got such good results. Then Hyung-wook smiled and said, "I used an app called Girigo. A friend gave it to me. The video of this app was turned on, and you had to write your name and date of birth on a piece of paper, stand in front of the camera with it, and make a wish of your own. Then that wish came true." He himself had made a wish to get good results in math like this. And then it actually happened. No one believed it when they heard it, and everyone made fun of Hyung-wook. Ha-young then shared the app link with everyone and said they could try it if they wanted, while he also showed them his app countdown and said he didn't understand why this was happening, so this incident ended here. Towards the end of lunch, Seiya and the woman were talking together in the washroom. The woman was telling Seiya that Hyung-wook was stupid and wouldn't go to her birthday party. Hyung-wook wanted to celebrate his birthday like a little kid, but Seiya was speaking for Hyung-wook. They were leaving as they were saying all this. Then their conversation stopped when they fell in front of Hyung-wook. Luckily, Hyung-wook didn't hear anything. Then they told Hyung-wook that they were talking about his birthday. Hyung-wook had become quiet since the app countdown started. The matter didn't escape Ha-jun's attention. He noticed that Hyung-wook was unusually quiet. He always had problems at his house from time to time, and he just rolled over like that. Ha-jun thought that maybe something similar had happened this time too. That night, everyone was doing their extracurricular activities at school. Then, when Hyung-wook's phone called, she took the phone and went out of the room. Ha-jun noticed it. Hyung-wook had called. When she received the call, she heard he and the woman were talking back and forth about her and making fun of her. Hearing this, she sat down in shock. She never went back to work, but Seiya was not near the phone at that time. She was talking to the coach. Seiya learned that she had been selected for the national team. On the way back, she told Gonyo about it. Meanwhile, when it was time for recess, Himu went back to the classroom to get her things. When Ha-jun tried to talk to him, he didn't answer. When she returned home, she called Gonyo to the flat because her aunt was not there. After that, they ordered food and the two of them were eating and chatting. At that time, Seiya noticed that Hyung-wook had called her phone several times. When she called back, Hyung-wook told her that he didn't want to talk. Seiya understood why Hyung-wook was arrogant. He won't be able to be there for Hyung-wook's birthday because he has to go to the national team practice on the weekend, so he says if only the practice would have been cancelled somehow. Hearing this, Gono jokingly writes his name and birthday on the pizza box and opens the Girigo app, then jokingly says that he wants the practice to be cancelled. Seiya tries to stop him from doing so. That night, despite being underage, Nari goes to a party alone with her 2 friends, so the next day they go to class at school and see him. Hyung-wook is sitting quietly with his head down. He holds the phone in his hand. There is no response even when he calls him. But when the 24-hour countdown on the Girigo app ends, he suddenly stands up, and his body starts to bend. When he starts to stab himself with a knife in his hand, everyone is afraid to try to stop him, because anyone can get hurt. He tries his best to save Hyung-wook. Hyung-wook threw him out of the classroom into the corridor. Then he stood up and put a knife to his throat and killed himself. His white school uniform was stained with Hyung-wook's blood. The other students, seeing this incident from the front, were stunned with fear. They were completely traumatized to see their childhood friend die like this. In fact, last night when Hyung-wook didn't want to talk on the phone, Seiya realized that Hyung was angry. That's why she went outside his house at night with a gift and started calling him. When Hyung didn't want to come out, Seiya wanted to go inside by climbing the wall. Then Hyung left. Seiya explained to him that the practice date was set for today. That's why she gave him the gift in advance. With Seiya's behavior, Hyung realizes that the person who called him and told him the opposite, he can't be Seiya anymore, so he tells Seiya about this phone call and apologizes for misunderstanding them. Hyung's behavior is like this. After seeing death face to face, Sai is kept in the school's first aid room to rest. Then she rests for a while and comes to meet the coach. The coach comforts her and wants to cancel that day's practice and take her home. Sia says she can go home alone. Then, when she was about to come out, the coach tells her that the weekend's practice has also been cancelled. Hearing this, she remembers that Ghana had made this exact wish. Then fear entered her mind. What if the Girigo app really works? So Saya tells the coach she doesn't want to cancel the practice anymore. Then, as she was walking towards the coach, a ventilation panel suddenly collapsed from the ceiling for no reason. When the practice was cancelled, despite Saya's reluctance, she got scared and checked the time on her phone. It was 11:26. She ran to where Gonio was. Hazan was also there. As if from nowhere, Narayan also appeared there. The timer started on Gonio's Girigo app. 2 2s make 4. Saya tells Himuk that before committing suicide, he saw the timer ending on the phone app in his hand. What does it mean after fulfilling his wish? The 24-hour countdown starts, and when it ends, death. The four of them sit together on the stairs and discuss the matter. Narayan gets angry at her and says that it's just because Saya thinks that it can't be true. In fact, she is behaving like this because she was jealous of him, because in the video of Ganio it was clearly seen that she and Ganio hung out together at his house at night. This clearly shows that they are in a relationship. So then Hajnoon said that this app could be the work of a hacker. Since the app was not being deleted, Hajnoon resets Ganu's phone and deletes everything so that the app is also deleted. Surprisingly, even though everything was deleted, this app was not deleted. And the countdown was still going on, so they decided when everyone's work was done, they would all sit together at home to destroy the app. When they reached home, Ganu wanted to spend some time with Sia to support her, but Saya wanted to go back home and rest, and told Ganu to rest too. But shortly after going to her flat, Ganu's phone received a call. A woman's voice came from the other side of the phone. Saya and Hajnoon were joking about her, so Ganu ran downstairs and entered the flat directly. Saya knew the password to the door of Ganu's flat, so they all reached there in a hurry. Just then, Saya had finished taking a bath and came out. Ganu hurriedly went to show Saya the strange call on the phone, but before that, the phone suddenly switched off. After a while, Hajun and the woman also arrived there. Understanding the situation, Hajun immediately started trying to destroy the Girigo app. But just then, something strange started happening to Ganu. Suddenly, he started itching his eyes, as if he was seeing something in front of him that no one else could see. Gradually, his behavior became abnormal. His eyes turned blood red, blood started flowing from the corners of his mouth, as if someone was controlling him from inside. Then suddenly he started hitting himself. When he tried to stop him, he attacked them. Everyone was terrified after seeing the whole incident, and the woman, standing at a distance, started videotaping everything with trembling hands. When Hajun came forward to save Saya, Ganu grabbed her throat with one hand and almost lifted her to the ground. The situation became so terrible that Saya was finally forced to pick up the laptop next to her and hit Ganu on the head. Ganu lost consciousness in an instant and fell to the ground. Saya does not remember exactly what happened next. When he regains consciousness, he finds himself in one of his aunt's hospital cabins. From his aunt, he learns that Ganu's condition is not very good. The head injury is not that serious, but for some unknown reason, his whole body is rapidly weakening. It's as if someone is sucking his life force from inside. When Saya wants to leave the cabin to go see Ganu, he meets a woman in the corridor. The woman stops him and tells him that it's better not to go there now. Ganu's entire family has arrived. Then Saya gives the password to his flat to the woman and says that some of his belongings are lying there. If you want, you can bring them. The woman goes to the flat and finds Ganu's phone lying on the floor. At that moment, Saya sits in the hospital cabin, opens the Girigo app and makes a terrible decision. He wishes, may Ganu recover like before. Before making the wish, he writes down the steps on a piece of paper, and as soon as the wish ends, Ganu's body condition starts to improve surprisingly. At the same time, the 24-hour countdown begins again. Meanwhile, when the woman looked at Ganu's phone, she saw that its countdown had suddenly stopped. Although she didn't know, the danger had temporarily been removed from Ganu because she had made a share wish. But what was even more frightening was that the countdown had also started on the woman's own phone, even though she hadn't made any wish. On the other hand, Hajun was sitting at home trying to crack the code of the Girigo app and delete it. Just then he received a call from his long-estranged older sister, Ha-young. Ha-young is a shaman, a type of shaman who works with spiritual powers and curses. She left her good job and normal life long ago and moved away from her family. Now she lives in a mysterious house surrounded by walls in the deep forest with her husband Bangla. Outside the house there was a small temple-like place surrounded by white cloth. There were countless stones piled up there, and deep inside that place lived a white snake, from which Ha-young gets her spiritual power. Over the phone, Ha-young said that she could sense the presence of a cursed force around Ha-jun. That force was called Yug. Yug spreads among people in various forms, and now it is spreading through the Girigo app. She also said that the girl who saved Ganu, that is Saya, is now in the greatest danger. If they want to live, they must quickly bring Saya to her. Hearing this, Ha-jun rushed to the hospital. However, Saya had already made a wish by then. Saya was breathing a sigh of relief upon hearing that Ganu was making a full recovery. Just then Ha-jun comes and tells her everything. Her sister is a shaman, and she might be the one who can help them. At first Saya is surprised, because until now Ha-jun has been telling everyone that her sister is studying abroad. Later Ha-jun admits with a ashamed face that he lied because he felt uncomfortable telling the truth. That night they set off for Ha-young's house. Taking the location, they take a taxi and reach a deserted road deep in the forest. The surroundings were so dark and silent that the place seemed like a place outside the world. Suddenly a huge tree fell in the middle of the road, so the driver refused to move forward. Saya and Ha-jun are forced to walk through the dark forest. After a long time they reach a huge iron gate. While knocking on the gate, Ha-jun tells Saya that he has been here once before, but then a man opened the door and said, "No one can enter without an invitation." And when Ha-jun said, "Then let Ha-young come out and meet me," the man said coldly, "Ha-young will die if he sets foot outside this gate." Actually, that man was Ha-young's husband, Bangla. Ha-jun didn't like him, so he called him Lok. Opening the door, Bangla laughed and called Ha-jun Shala. That's when Saya realized that this was Ha-young's husband. After they entered, the gate was closed again. Bangla was leading them inside while joking. Just then, Saya's phone called. Ganu's name appeared on the screen. As Saya received the call, Ganu's voice came from the other side, "Where are you?" But suddenly Ha-young ran over and shouted, "Don't answer," because it wasn't Ganu, rather an evil spirit was imitating his voice. As soon as Ha-young approached, the spirit sat on Saya's body. In an instant, Saya's eyes went blank, her body went limp, as if her soul had been dragged into some cursed world. Ha-young immediately started the ritual. With great difficulty, he forced the spirit to drop the phone from Saya's hand. Then he told Ha-jun and Bangla, one way or another, her soul must be brought back. They quickly took Saya to that temple-like place. She was laid out in a long position in the middle of a white cloth-covered area. At that time, she was completely unconscious. On the other hand, when Ganu regained consciousness in the hospital, the woman went to him. But he deliberately said that Saya had not come to see him. Then the woman showed Ganu the video of the terrible incident on her phone. However, she kept it a secret that Ganu's phone was now with her. And just then, in that temple at night, the terrible ritual to bring back Saya's soul begins. Ha-young sits near the head. Then, a spell is recited to keep the cursed things away, and a ring is cut around the temple. Ha-jun is kept inside the house and is forbidden to leave. In the world of supernatural power, he regains his soul consciousness. Ha-young's soul goes there and explains everything to Saya. How to get out: Bangla will light 3 incense sticks in a row. This one incense stick is a door. The door will remain until the incense stick is completely burned out, and Saya will have to find that door and pass through it. After that, another incense stick will be lit. Only if Saya can pass through these 3 doors will she survive. Otherwise, her soul will be stuck here. And another rule is that no matter what happens, she cannot look back. Otherwise, the cursed power will find her. After saying these rules, Ha-young shows Saya. He has tied a white thread to her hand. He will be behind Saya the whole time. Saya will be able to understand that he is there through the thread on his hand. Ha-young says that he will be wearing a mask, so that the cursed power cannot see him. So he starts walking. First he finds himself in the school. Then he starts looking for the door everywhere. He tries to make her turn back by making various sounds, but she does not turn back. He even starts to scare her by bringing the moment of Ha-young's suicide in front of her. Saya realizes that everything is being shown to her is actually a lie to weaken her. That is why she runs inside Young's body. Although she was afraid, she does not break down and crosses the door. Then she finds herself on a road. In front of her was an accident car. The accident in which her parents died when she was a child. Seeing her mother's bloody body lying there, she goes and talks. Meanwhile, time is running out. The door will close. Sia somehow managed to get up. Even though her mother called her repeatedly, she did not back. Instead, she came through the door. This time, she regained consciousness. She found herself lying in Hyun's house. Bangul and Haejun were sitting in front. They told her that the danger was over, but Sia did not see Hyun there and asked where he was. Bengal said that Hyun was tired and was resting. Meanwhile, Hyun was saying in her head, Hyun is resting because he is tired. All of this was a lie. Her danger was not over. Instead, she had to go through another door. Since Hyun was wearing a mask, she could not see the cursed power, so she could not bring her face in front of Sia. Meanwhile, Haejun and Bengal were saying that whatever Sia was hearing inside her head, that cursed power, was telling her to confuse her. Sia did not understand what to do. Everything around her seemed to be getting darker and more terrifying. On the other hand, Haejun and Bangul were telling her repeatedly that no matter what happened, she could not look back. Because once he looked back, his connection to that cursed world would be completely severed. But the situation gradually got out of control. At the last moment, Haejun suddenly became possessed, just like Ganu. He started hitting his own body. He was told in a panicked voice, "To save Haejun, you have to look back." In the pressure and fear, Saya finally made a mistake. He looked back, and immediately the white thread connected to Haeyoung was torn. In an instant, the surroundings changed. Saya found himself in a bloody, horrible world. Instead of the ground, there was a stream of blood under his feet. The white thread tied to his hand had also turned red with blood. A girl with a slit throat stood in front of him. Her face was not visible properly, but her presence made the whole place feel cold. It seemed that the evil force wanted to jump directly on Saya. Just then, Haeyoung rushed there. He grabbed Saya's hand and quickly ran towards a door. A red phone soaked in blood was lying in front of the door, which seemed to be the source of the entire curse. As soon as she was about to cross the door and come out, the cutthroat girl attacked Saya with a knife. But Haeyoung jumped in and saved her, and the blow cut off Haeyoung's hand. After crossing the third door, Saya finally regained consciousness. On the other hand, Haejun was sitting outside watching the entire ritual. At that time, even though the woman's phone rang, he did not answer. Because if Saya did not return, then as a last resort, he was ready to make a wish on the Girigo app himself. He wrote his name and date of birth on a piece of paper and put it in his pocket. After Saya regained consciousness, when Haejun was going to pick her up, the paper fell out of his pocket. Bangul saw it but did not say anything. He understood. Haejun loved Saya in his heart. Meanwhile, the injured Haeyoung went to the white snake. Surprisingly, the snake touched its tongue to his wound and the cut on his hand slowly healed. Seeing this scene, Haejun no longer has any doubts. He realizes that his sister really has supernatural powers. Then Bangul tells him that because of this evil power, Haeyoung cannot go outside the house. If she crosses this boundary, her death is certain. And that is why Bangul is always trying to find a way so that Haeyoung can return to normal life. After everything calms down a bit, the four of them sit together and discuss the whole matter. Haeyoung says that this curse is not an app, but a medium. And the thing that is spreading this cursed power into the world is called Maehyeong. He thinks that the blood-stained red phone is the real Maehyeong. That is what created the connection between this world and the cursed world. And until that is destroyed, this curse will not end. But the problem is, only Saya can find that phone, because now he has a connection to that world. Finally, it is decided that Haejun, Saya, and Bangul will rest for the night and go out the next morning to look for that phone. Since Haeyoung cannot go, he will give them instructions from home. That night, Saya goes to sleep and has another strange dream. He sees blood pouring down from the ceiling of the room where he is sleeping, and the girl with her throat slit is standing in front of him. The girl was silently pointing back, as if she wanted to show something. When Saya slowly looked back, someone jumped at her from the darkness with a knife. She woke up screaming in fear. Ha-young was calling her at that time. Hearing the incident, Saya said that she felt that the girl who cut her throat might be trying to tell her something, but Ha-young warned her, "Not all spirits come to help. Some even set traps." The next morning, Bangul, Ha-jun, and Saya went out to look for the red phone. Before leaving, Ha-young tied a white thread on her hand and another thread on Saya's hand. He said, "As long as this thread is in your hand, no evil force can harm you." Meanwhile, Bangul took with him a special knife, which can be used to repel evil spirits, and he took a mysterious compass. When evil forces come close, the needles of that compass start to tremble abnormally. They set off in Bangul's car. The first goal was to find out how Hyung-wook got the link to the Girigo app, because finding the source of the app might reveal the location of Mayhyung's phone. For this reason, they went to Ha-jun's house, where Hyung-wook's laptop was still kept. His Google account and social media logins were on the laptop. They started looking for the browsing history of the day before June 3rd, because they thought that Hyung-wook had downloaded the app on that day and wished for good results in the math exam. But surprisingly, nothing much was found in the history. However, they noticed one thing. Hyung-wook used Discord regularly, and that's where the real story of this cursed app may have started. That's when Young got a call from a boy named Minsu. Sia asked Ha-jun to turn off the microphone and receive the call. Her purpose was to hear if Minsu knew anything about this app, so they talked to Minsu through messages disguised as Haeok. Minsu says she was scared to hear that Haeok died. It's good to see him alive now. So Haeok ordered something from Minsu. Minsu wants to give it to her, and she asks to meet him in an hour. When he wants to meet her at a coffee shop, Minsu says they'll meet where they usually meet. Then they hang up. But Saya and Ha-jun don't know. Where did Haeok meet with Minsu? Then Ha-jun traces the numbers of Haeok and Minsu and finds out their common space, and it's in front of Baikun Middle School. So they go there and wait. Seeing a boy waiting there, Minsu assumes it is Minsu. Then Ha-jun and Sia are asked to wait in the car. Bangul wants to talk to Minsu, but he can't talk properly. On the contrary, when Minsu is scared, she runs away in fear. Then Ha-jun and Sia follow him. Since Sia is an athlete, she can't escape from him. After Minsu catches Minsu, they find out that Minsu and Hyung-wook met on Discord. That's where they used to talk. Hyung-wook would sometimes come here to get drugs from him. And about the app, he says that he doesn't even know where the app came from. He himself studies at Baikun Middle School. And suddenly the link was posted with the picture in a group at the school. He downloaded it from there. The picture was later deleted due to group policy. He says that the names of two girls named Herong and Zion were also tagged. Everyone at Baikun Middle School knows them, because Herong is a Saman's daughter. She was a bit of a weird girl. Ha-jun finds the deleted photo from Facebook. Minsu shows which one is Herong and which is Zion, so they go out and find the Saman girl. That is, they look for Herong. Meanwhile, Ganyo and the woman go to Sia's flat to look for Ganyo's phone. The woman still doesn't know that he has the phone. Anyway, they go to Herong's village and start looking for her house. Bangul says that every Saman's house has a flag. The house with the flag is the Saman girl's house, but they can't find the flag in any house. Meanwhile, when it gets dark, they go to a shop to eat. There was an old woman in the shop. They ask her which is Saman's house. The old woman says that after going a little further, there is a green gate house. That is the house of the poor. Then Ha-jun shows the old woman a picture to see which one is which. Then the old woman showed the girl who was shown to the person next to her as the daughter of a Harang or Saman. They were quite surprised by this. But then they went to the green gate and knocked, but no one opened the door. Then they opened the door themselves and went inside and saw that the house was abandoned, and the Saman flag was also down, so it was not visible from the outside. So Bangul made a circle and asked Ha-jun and Saya to stay inside and went inside. When he went inside, he found nothing. That's when he saw a blood-stained door that was covered with paper. When he opened the door, he found a staircase and went up it. When he went up, he saw a room full of various items and idols of the Saman's puja. Even blood was spread all over the room. Not only that, a girl's school dress was being decorated with hairpins and idols around it. But was it for the girl's protection? or to harm the girl. Bangla couldn't understand this. He took pictures of everything. Meanwhile, outside the circle, Saya suddenly sees the girl with her throat slit and bloodied. She was standing against the wall of the house, trying to show something. When Saya leaves the circle, she goes there and the girl disappears. There she finds a piece of a dress and a picture. The picture was a selfie of Hirang and Zion. Then they call Bengal and show the picture. Back in the car, they take a picture of this picture and send it to Ha Young. Ha Young says that the window behind the selfie of the two girls has rainbow paint. She saw this window in the cursed world where she went to bring the soul. Right behind that red phone, that is where this window is, the red phone is also there. Then Hajun says that the wishing video must have been recorded with the red phone. That means if you can find the video, you can find the place by pressing the location. Then they also try to trace where the videos of the app are uploaded, but it comes up with a website and login info. Then Sia says that she saw the same login page on her coach's computer. Then they go to school and ask Bangla to wait in the car outside the school. Hajun and Sia enter the school at night, which is controlled by CCTV cameras. To sneak inside, they go through the back. There was a secret path made by cutting the fence. Sia says that she herself made this path to go to school at night and practice without everyone seeing it. And it was through such secret practice that she was able to make it to the national team. So Hajun goes to the coach's room and goes to that website, and they see that there are all the wish videos made so far, and they are surprised to see one video, and that is the woman. In the video, the woman made a wish while drunk at the party so that Himuk would die. She was standing outside when Hinguk died. Seeing this, she and Hajnun are surprised, but if the woman keeps wishing and her wish comes true, then how is she still alive? Meanwhile, the woman also enters the school right then. But why? Anyway, the night before Himuk died, the woman went to meet her two friends Dongji and Heijin at a party. Although they are both seniors to the woman. There, Heijin asks the woman who she likes. The woman says the name is Ganu, and tells her that there is a boy in their class named Heomuk, whom she absolutely cannot stand. Even Hinguk is so stupid that he believes that wishes can be fulfilled through an app. Hearing this, Dongji asks what the name of the app is. Girigo. When the woman says yes, Dongji says that many people believe that the app is cursed. This app was created by a girl named Sion to bully a man named Durang, and that is why Durang committed suicide by cutting her own throat. Then Dongji jokingly says, the woman also looked as scary as Sion at that time. Hearing this, the woman downloads the Girigo app in a joking manner. She writes her name and date of birth on a tissue and submits it to the app. Then she makes a wish. Let two people die. Although she says Young's name first, Heijin snatches the phone from her hand and stops her just as she is about to say Dongji's name as the second name. The panic is clear in Heijin's eyes. It was clear that he knew something about this app. The next day, the woman fell asleep drunk and was late for school. When she reached school, she saw Himu commit suicide in front of her eyes. Seeing that scene, she was terrified. Just then, a notification came from the Girigo app. Her wish had been fulfilled. Immediately, a countdown started on the screen, but she couldn't understand what the countdown was for. The woman went to the washroom in fear and stress and vomited. Sitting inside, she heard some girls talking bad about her outside, but when she came out tired and terrified, she saw no one there. It was all a mistake in her mind. Then she called Heijin, but Heijin didn't pick up the phone. After a while, she bumped into someone and dropped her phone. When she picked up the phone, she saw Sia running somewhere. She heard behind her, Ganyo's countdown had also started, and the end of the countdown meant death. Hearing that, the woman became even more scared. However, after a while, she suddenly noticed that her own countdown had stopped. That day, not only Gonyo, but the woman also saw the ghostly girl at Sia's house. Suspicious, she turned on the video camera. Although nothing was captured, the woman's suspicions grew even more when she remembered Heijin's strange behavior while making a wish. She went to Heijin in anger. Heijin then told her that there had been various rumors about this app before. It was said that it was cursed. Just as the woman didn't believe it at first, neither did Heijin. However, she had heard that Durang committed suicide because of this app. That was why she was so scared that day. Then the woman went to Sia's flat to get her belongings. There, she found Gonio's phone based on the clues she saw in the video. But when she picked up the phone, she was surprised. The phone's timer was off. She found it strange. By calculating, she realized that every time someone new made a wish, the previous person's timer stopped. Then she thought that Sia might have made a new wish to save Gonio. She also stopped when she tried to call Sia. Later, she calls Hajun, but Hajun doesn't answer the phone because he is busy saving Sia at Ha-young's house. The woman then goes to write a message. She has figured out how to stop the timer. At that moment, a message comes to Gonio's phone. It says that the sender knows how to get rid of this curse, but he doesn't want to tell the woman anything, so they have to meet secretly. The woman then replies pretending to be Gonio and says that she agrees to meet, but the thought that her friends are planning everything except her breaks the woman from within, so she doesn't tell anyone else. Meanwhile, Gonio tells the woman that the girl she saw was wearing their school dress, but none of them knew the girl. Maybe if they go through the old school documents, they can find out something. So that night, Gonio decides to go to school without everyone knowing, and he wants the woman to go with him. The woman agrees. A short while after Haejun and Sia enter the school, Gonio had already made a secret way to cross the school's net barricade, so he knew which way to enter. When they went to the documents room, they found out that a girl named Sion had died in the same way, the way Gonio had seen the dead girl. Then Gonio told the woman that in the video, he clearly saw that the woman had pointed the camera at the exact place where she had seen the girl. That means the woman could also see the spirit. As soon as the words were finished, the cursed spirit took over the woman. In an instant, she became violent. Gonio wanted to take out Gonio's phone, or that Sia was conspiring against her. But Gonio realized that the woman was seeing things wrong. Because the phone had already been destroyed, there was no way that new messages were supposed to come in. But then the woman was no longer normal. Suddenly, she inserted a sharp object into Gonio's shoulder. Then she quickly ran out and locked the door from the outside. Just then, sensing the presence of the spirit in the school, Bangla's compass started spinning. She quickly ran to the school. The scene he saw upon arrival was even more horrifying. Gonio was trying to slit his own throat with his own nails. He realizes that there is a cursed spirit here. He throws the knife, and the spirit leaves. Then he breaks the door and goes inside to Gani. Just then, the spirit breaks through the door and throws it at them. A piece of glass enters Bangla's eye. The eye becomes bloody, and from then on, he also starts seeing spirits. Meanwhile, Hajun and Saya don't know anything about this. However, they copy all the wishing videos to themselves. However, there is a story behind the curse of the Girigo app. There were two friends named Zion and Harang. Their house was in the same area, and they studied in the same school. They had a close friendship since childhood. There was nothing that they didn't share with each other. Zion's family was a Saman family. The Saman family was viewed differently in society. That's why Zion felt quite low about his own family. He didn't have a father. He thought that his father died because of his mother. That's why he didn't even talk to his mother. Most of the time, he was outside the house. He chose the second floor of an abandoned spinning mill as his place to live. He cleaned a room here and made it his own. Harang would sometimes come here and stay with him. It was the Saman family. On top of that, there were rumors that his mother had killed his father. That's why he didn't even introduce himself as the daughter of the Saman family at school. Many at school knew that a girl from the Saman family was studying at the school, but no one knew who she really was. Sion had forbidden Durong to reveal it either. The farther Sion was from his mother, the more Harang became interested in Sion's mother and their house. Shamanism seemed strange to him. He would try to find out. Sometimes he would peek outside the gate to see what was inside. He would even visit his mother without telling Sion. Zion's mother used to tell him that he had the power to practice supernatural things, so his main attraction was the room on the second floor for shamanism that he had never seen. One day, he was peeking into Zion's house on his way to school when Zion's mother came and opened the door. One of Harang's eyes was red. Zion's mother saw that something evil had come upon him, which is why his eyes were so red. She performed a ritual to fix Harang's eyes. Seeing this, Harang's faith in shamanism grew. Then he went to their dorm and called Zion to go to school. They were going to school together, but Zion could smell the smell of his home on Harang's body and knew it. Harang had gone to his house, and she got angry. Then Harang told her that he had only gone to look for her, for no other reason. That day Zion found out Girigo liked a boy named Git in their class. She even made fun of it. When he went to school, Zion didn't really get along with Girigo, for fear of his identity being revealed. Zion was in the school's coding club. Their competition was to make an app. Teams of 4 members were formed to make an app together. Zion was the only talented one in the group. The other 3 gave him the responsibility of making an app. Then one boy joked that an app could be made to fulfill wishes. Another joked that a little girl from the school was studying. If he wanted, he could also use her to put magic into the app. Hearing all this joking, Zion got angry and left. No one could understand the reason for his anger, because no one knew that Saman girl. So one night, Girigo was returning alone. Zion's mother was a middle-aged woman. She drank a lot, so much so that even the shopkeepers were not willing to sell him alcohol. So that day when Girigo fell in front of her on the way back from buying alcohol, she offered Girigo to go with her, but Girigo refused and left. After a while he heard the sound of eating ashar and looked back. Zion's mother had fallen with her belongings, so he came to their house to help her. Zion's mother then took Girigo to their upper room, that is a small practice room. She gave him a chance to look, to satisfy his curiosity. Then she told him that he could select any doll from here if he wanted. It would be given to him. Then Girigo selected a doll called Saju. Zion's mother showed him how to do black magic on others with it. Zion saw this conversation and the whole thing when he came home that day. Zion's mother was telling Girigo that it would be better if Girigo was her daughter. Zion heard this too, and he thought that Girigo sometimes comes here like this without his knowledge. He wanted to leave angrily, but Girigo tried to convince him, but it was of no use. The next day, Girigo waited for Zion in their tent. When Zion came, he apologized to her and Zion forgave him. Then he said that he was making an app to grant wishes. As a demo, he turned on the video and stood in front of it, convincingly persuading Girigo to tell him his secret wish. Then Girigo stood in front of the camera and confidently told Zion that he wanted Git to love him. Then Girigo designed and drew the opening logo of the app for Zion. One night, Girigo was waiting for Zion in his tent. Zion was also leaving the house, but he stayed because of some words from his mother. That night, his mother woke up and felt something strange. Seeing the community room open, she ran away. When he went there, he saw that Zion had practiced dark magic here to summon the cursed power. The room was full of the blood of the victim, so he understood the danger of his daughter, because the cursed spirit that was summoned first hit the one who summoned it. He quickly surrounded all the dolls to protect her with her school dress and hair for the good of his daughter. To save his daughter from danger, he was doing another dark magic, because of which he himself was slowly moving towards death. Zion actually did this to make his app realistic. He was sitting in the room and making the app with headphones in his ears. What was happening outside was beyond his imagination. The next morning, without knowing anything, he went to school and finished making the app. Meanwhile, Girigo came there to look for him, and he saw Zion's bloody mother burying something in the ground near the wall. Seeing this, he got scared and wanted to come back, but Zion's mother stopped him and said that danger is approaching Zion. If he wants to save her, he must keep a cloth with him. He pushed the cloth towards Girigo. At the last moment, Zion's mother gave Girigo a cloth and told her to hide it in Zion's bag. She believed that this cloth might be the one that could save her daughter from the curse. In a tearful voice, she also said that Zion's father had also tried to save her in this way once, but he couldn't. Now, she had to save her daughter at any cost. Just then, Girigo arrived there, and while trying to save her daughter, Zion's mother lost her life fighting the cursed force. However, before she died, she sealed the door of the shamanism room with special paper with her last strength. The next day, when she went to school, Girigo wanted to tell Zion the truth, but Zion didn't pay any attention to him. Later, when the classroom was empty, Girigo quietly went to put the cloth in Zion's bag. Just then, one of Zion's friends saw the matter. She immediately called Zion. Then Girigo wanted to tell the truth about Zion's mother, but Zion was not willing to listen to anything. Instead, he insulted Girigo in front of everyone and drove him away. Then, from behind, Zion heard his girlfriend telling others that Girigo said that Zion's mother was a shaman or something like that. Hearing this, Zion suddenly came forward and turned the whole incident upside down. He lied and said that Girigo was actually a shaman girl. Not only that, but the video of Girigo's wish, where he wanted Gita to love him, was also spread to the school group. The video was even played on the classroom monitor. Gitti insulted Harang terribly in front of everyone. He went beyond the limits of humiliation and even slapped Harang. Unable to bear so much humiliation and insult, that night, Sion returned to their old camp. There, using the decorated doll given by Sion's mother, he started black magic on Sion. Then, Harang starts the video on the Girigo app and says, "I want everyone who insulted me to die." Saying these words, he cuts his throat with a knife in front of the camera. Within moments, the video spreads throughout the school. In panic, Sion wants to delete the video, but he can't. He can't even remove the Girigo app from his phone. In fear, he goes to the school's computer room that night and tries to destroy the main server. But even after turning off the power, Harang's video keeps popping up on every screen. Then, the boy named Git becomes possessed and commits suicide. And Sion also cuts his throat, just like Harang. It seems that Harang's wish really comes true. However, before dying, Sion also makes an unknown wish on the Girigo app. He writes his name and date of birth on the floor with his blood and asks for something, but no one knows what that last wish really was. Meanwhile, at school, Bangla manages to save Gonyo at the last moment, but is himself seriously injured. Then they realize that the woman is now heading towards Hajun and Sia. The two of them are in the school gym at the moment. Everyone quickly runs towards that direction, but the woman reaches there before they can reach it. Seeing the woman in an unusually aggressive state, Sia steps forward to calm her down. Seeing this from a distance, Bangla shouts and tells her to stop. But by then it is too late. The woman goes to hit Sia with a piece of iron in her hand. Just then, Hajun comes forward and extends his hand to block the blow. As a result, his hand is seriously injured. This time, Bangla will go all to reach there. Bangla clearly sees that the terrible spirit has taken possession of the woman's body. As soon as he tries to hit the spirit with his knife, the spirit takes the woman and runs away from there. Then the four of them go to the hospital. Because the condition of Bangul's eyes and Hajun's hands is very bad at that time. When Bangul and Hajun went inside the hospital, Gonyo and Sia sat down in the car and started looking through old videos. Later they all watched the first video uploaded to Girigo together. That was Harang's video. They thought that the whole curse started from this video. Hajun tracked the location of the video. Then everyone went to the area where the video was recorded. Their goal was to find the mysterious rainbow window, because it was believed that the red phone was there, which might be able to stop this curse. But they didn't know that the woman under the control of the spirit had already reached there. As soon as they entered the area with the car, the spirit started an empty car and threw it at them. A terrible accident occurred. Then Bangul went ahead to see if the driver of the other car was alive. But when he went, he saw the driving seat was completely empty. That's when they realized that it was the work of the spirit. Bangul realized that the spirit's real target was Sia, because Sia is the only person who can find the red phone and break this curse. Just then, Bangul sees a huge piece of iron falling from an electric pole, which would have hit Sia directly. Without a moment's hesitation, he jumps forward. The piece of iron pierces his stomach. Even as he falls to the ground, Bangul tells Sia and Gonyo, "We have to find the rainbow window no matter what." Seeing Bangul's condition, Hajun breaks down. By now, he has realized that he has truly fallen in love with Bangul. Breaking down in tears, he calls an ambulance and sends Bangul to the hospital. He also informs his sister. On the other hand, Sia and Gonyo start looking for the rainbow window with a knife and a compass. After a lot of searching, they finally find it. But the problem was elsewhere. The window was on the second floor, and there were no stairs to climb up there. There was an alternative route, but to get there you would have to make a huge long jump. Gonyo couldn't do it, and stayed down. Sia entered the room alone. As soon as he entered, he saw the red phone. But as he was about to go towards the phone, the woman suddenly jumped on him with a knife. A terrible fight began. Seeing Sia in danger from a distance, Gonyo finally decided to go there. He tried the long jump method he had told him, and succeeded. When he went, he saw the woman climbing up and sitting on top, and trying to put a knife in her throat. Then he saw that it was not a woman but a cursed spirit. Finding no other way, he inserted the knife given by Bengal into the spirit's stomach. Then he saw that it was actually a woman. So what else could he do? The postmates tried to convince the woman that Sia was not like that. Their friendship was very good. What happened to her now? The woman also agreed to his words and Sia moved forward. But at that moment the woman pulled the white thread in Sia's hand and untied it, and said that if she could not get out of here herself, she would not let Sia get out either. As soon as the thread is untied, Chea becomes possessed. Her soul goes back to that cursed world. but she still has her senses. Meanwhile, the operation to remove the piece of iron from Bangla's stomach is successful, but her condition is still critical. The doctor says that nothing can be said before she returns. Anyway, when she removes the white thread from her hand, the thread in Ha-young's hand falls off by itself. Ha-young realizes that she is in risk. She calls her phone and Ganyo receives it. Ha-young introduces herself and asks Saya to take her to him. Saya thinks that this is also the work of the spirits. She tells Ganyo to hang up the call. Then Ganyo thinks that Saya is in more danger if she stays here. Let's take a chance instead. Saya starts to be taken towards Ha-young's house. Meanwhile, Saya regains consciousness in the other world. She is lying on the school's nursing bed. Ganyo and Ha-jun and the woman are standing in front of her. They tell her all the curses are over. They even showed that the Girigo app had been deleted by turning on the phone. Sia believed everything, but when she came back after chatting outside the school, she noticed that she was working somewhere in the school. Now that work was completed, this work was not supposed to be completed so soon. She realized that it was a scam, so she looked out of the school window and found out the real truth. Meanwhile, she got out of the car and started walking. Gonyo carried her on his back and started walking, but she went the wrong way and almost fell off the mountain. Google Maps was also not working. Meanwhile, sitting at home, Hae-young started flying lanterns, so that Gonyo could see it and bring it in that direction. But the fire was repeatedly going out in the cursed wind. Finally, she was able to fly the lanterns, and seeing that, Gonyo could come home. They also brought that cursed red phone with them. So, Hae-young sat near Sia's head to perform the ritual. Then, he broke the phone with a spell-casting arrow and destroyed the curse. But even if he doesn't regain consciousness, he will understand. The curse didn't spread from this phone, it spread from something else. Meanwhile, when Sia was sitting in the spirit world, a cursed spirit of a woman came and attacked her. Sia was almost losing. At that moment, Hae-young came there to save Sia, and when he shot an arrow at the spirit left. Then Hae-young told Sia, the curse wasn't on that red phone, it was on another phone. They had to get it out and destroy it quickly, because they knew that the longer it stayed there, the more dangerous it would be. So everyone started searching quickly. Just then, Harang's spirit appeared in front of them. However, this time he didn't look as scary as before. There was no blood on him, and his throat wasn't cut. Hae-young immediately understood that only Harang's curse was stuck on the red phone. With the phone destroyed, Harang's spirit was finally freed. Harang's spirit then pointed to the multimedia room, the room where Sion died. Then, Ha-young realized that the real source of the curse was not Harang, Zion. The curse had spread throughout the entire Girigo app since Zion's last wish. They now had to destroy that cursed phone no matter what. Ha-young quickly made a plan. He knew that if Zion's spirit captured them, nothing would be possible. So using his magic, he took the form of Harang and went in front of Zion. He tried to calm Zion down. He said, "There is no need for so much hatred and revenge. Now is the time to be freed." In fact, by saying these things, he was only keeping Zion busy so that Sia would get a chance. Meanwhile, Sia entered the multimedia room and started looking around. After a lot of searching, he found the cursed door, the room that had been sealed since Zion's death. But the moment he was about to open the door, the real woman walked in. But this time, he was not possessed. It was the jealousy, anger, and pain that had been building up inside him that had drawn him there. All his anger towards Sia exploded at once. Immediately, a fight started between them. On the other hand, Sia started to get suspicious when she saw Hae-young, because she knew the smell of Harang's body very well. And this smell was not Harang's. Immediately, she used her power to break Hae-young's spell. In an instant, Hae-young returned to her previous form. Then, Sia's spirit started attacking Hae-young from the roof. Hae-young was also trying to stop her with a magic arrow. Meanwhile, at one point in the fight, Sia climbed on top of the woman and told her to stop, but the woman did not stop. Instead, she picked up a piece of iron lying on the ground and went to insert it into Sia's stomach. To save herself and in fear, Sia repeatedly punched the woman in the face. At one point the woman fell silent. Even though Sia broke down upon realizing her friend's death, there was no time to waste. He quickly entered the multimedia room and found the cursed phone. The wish that Sion had made on the Girigo app before his death was terrible, that everyone who wished on this app would suffer a cursed death. The entire curse had spread from there. Taking the phone in his hand, Sion quickly returned to Hyung, because the only way to destroy the phone was with that enchanted arrow. But at that time Hae-young was almost out of control with Sion. Just when Sion was about to put a knife to his throat, Harang's spirit appeared there. He told Sion to stop, but Sion told him that he would not stop. At that very moment, Hae-young took advantage of Sion's carelessness and grabbed him. Then, he put the enchanted arrow straight into Sion's stomach. However, the arrow pierced Sion's body and entered Hae-young's own stomach as well. He did it on purpose, because this time, he had made himself the weapon to stop Sion. When Sion moved away in shock, Sia stood a little distance away with the phone. Hae-young then threw an arrow and went to destroy the phone, but the arrow did not hit the phone and got stuck in the wall behind it. Then Hae-young pointed at Sia. He understood that the phone had to be destroyed with the arrow stuck in the wall. Meanwhile Sion, seeing everything, started screaming like a madman and throwing glass at the window, as if to stop Sia. But by then it was too late. Sia pulled the arrow out of the wall and hit it directly on the phone. The phone was destroyed in an instant. And, with that, the curse of Girigo App also ends. As soon as the curse stops, everyone's consciousness slowly returns. However, both Sia and Hae-young are seriously injured. After that, quite a while passes. Gradually, everyone recovers. Bangla also returns home from the hospital. But Nari and Himuk will never return. Of the 6 friends who once lived together, only Sia, Hajun, and Gonyo are now alive. They start school regularly again. One day, everyone at Hae-young's house performs a ritual to pray for the peace of Nari and Himuk's souls. When they were talking after the ritual, Bangla tells a strange story. Ever since he was injured in the eye, he has been able to see supernatural and evil forces with his naked eyes. And with the help of this new power, he will slowly try to get Hae-young out of that cursed house. Thus, almost all the darkness in their lives ends, although he had to lose 2 dear friends for it. But the story doesn't end here. Meanwhile, a boy named Minsu comes to Siad's school to find the secret of the Girigo app. Unable to enter through the front gate, he turns around to the back. There, he finds a secret passage made by Sia and Gonyo. Once inside, he finds a phone lying on the ground. He takes the phone and goes to a computer shop. When he turns on the phone, he sees that it is a woman's phone, and the Girigo app is still on that phone. Just then, Minsu was talking to someone on the phone. The unknown person told him that the Girigo app was not completely destroyed yet. Minsu slowly opens the app. So will the curse of the Girigo app return again? Who is the mysterious person who gave Minsu this information? Will Hae-young ever really be able to leave his house? And the rest of the friends, will they face a new terrible curse again? We will have to wait until Lastas, If Wishes Could Kill Season 2 comes out to find out the answers to these questions. Until then everyone, stay well and healthy. Thank you.